Okay, here we go. Welcome, Joanne Berlin. We're
Thank
excited to
you.
hear your
Thank you,
tips and
Candy.
suggestions on how to move forward when you have
When you're
talked
stuck.
when you're stuck. Exactly. There you go.
Well, I was super excited when Candy asked me because I feel like I'm becoming an expert in this area, not because I have all the answers, but because I get stuck a lot, like everybody. And it's so funny because I tell my daughter all the time, and I told her, in the beginning, this is easy. This is so easy helping people with their health goals. The tricky part is finding enough people. Where are the people? And I tell her all the time, she's like, do this, do that. I can do that, Marianne. Just bring me the people. So that's what I want to talk about. And you guys, I don't have all the answers. I'm working it, learning it, you know, but I do believe that we can come up with a system where we never get stuck. I really believe that.
Mhm.
And my mission is to prove it and make it happen. So I have 6 points that I want to share with you because this is what I really believe about this business. The business is, first of all, the comp plan is so generous, and I want you all to experience all of that. I know you've experienced some, but my husband and I are really blown away at the money that gets deposited into my account. And I'm not a diamond yet. And so this can happen for you. And that has been a pleasant surprise. It wasn't why I started, but it's been a pleasant surprise. Okay, so number one, wellness events. And I'm going to refer a lot to Mary Kay, and I feel like I can do that with because I'm among friends that understand that. And because I spent 25 years in Mary Kay, it's a big part of who I am and what I've learned about direct sales and network marketing. And let me just throw this little extra in because somebody the other day said, well, I don't want any part of a pyramid scheme. And I quickly said, this is not a pyramid scheme. Pyramids are illegal. This is, like Mary Kay used to say, the purest form of direct sales and network marketing. Just like in Mary Kay, you can have a business simply selling the product, and then you can have a business recruiting. The same in Plexus. And I had a VIP just the other day ask me, she said, Joanne, would it be possible to get to Diamond just building VIP customers? And I said, absolutely. And there are women and maybe men who have done that. So there is building customers, and then there is recruiting, networking, network marketing in Plexus. And you can take both paths or you can take one. So, wellness events in Mary Kay, they were called skincare parties, classes. And you guys, I went back. Shirley Hutton was my, what was it called? Let's see, my
National?
senior national before she retired. And then it was Marilyn Welly Valella. And the 3+3+3 became my motto. It was simple. I could latch onto it. And so Marianne and I, and then it became a perfect 10. Marilyn made it into a perfect 10. 10 parties in a month, 3 parties a week. And so Marianne and I had a conversation a few weeks ago. And I said, has anyone ever done that in Plexus? Has anyone held 3 wellness events? And then the 3+3+3 would be from each event you find a new VIP customer, and then you help them find a new VIP customer. So I said, has anyone ever done that? Why can't we do that in Plexus? And so last month was kind of my pilot program. And what I did is I went to my VIP customers. Now, Terry isn't going to have the same advantage as Candy and Irma because she's just started. But even still, I would encourage you to go into your back office and look at all your VIP customers, those who have subs on, those who have subs off. Make a list, and then I can give you a script. I know I've put some out there, but I basically reached out to every one of them and I said, I am in a contest this month of March to hold 10 wellness events. Would you be willing to help me out and be a hostess? And then I quickly said, I will do all the work. I will make you a graphic. I will even give you a script. And all you do is invite some friends and family. And we can do this 3 ways. We can do this on Facebook Messenger, or we can do this on Zoom, or if they're local, we can do this in person as a sip and see. And I even, for those local, I said, I'll host for you if you're more comfortable, or you can host. And so I reached out to not everybody. I know I didn't cover everybody, but I guess I stopped once I started getting wellness events, and I got them booked. And then from each event, my goal was to find at least one person I could help. I wanted everybody, but some of the events would be 3 people. Some would be 5 or 6. I don't think any of them were, maybe a Facebook Messenger party might have had a dozen. But so I asked if they would do it. And then after I sent the text, I asked if I could call them and talk a little bit more about it. And that's what made the difference, you all, because I love to use Sarah as an example. This is a Sarah that nobody knows, but she ordered products from me, actually from a friend who told her about me, and she ordered them for her husband. And so when I asked her to be a hostess, she said, I don't even take the products. I said, that's okay. You can do this for your husband and we'll give him the product credit. And so I talked with her on the phone. She said, I don't want to sell. I don't want to be involved in any of that, but I'm willing to help you. And this is what I remember in Mary Kay days. Many times people would be willing to help, but I didn't feel badly about it because we're going to help them. And so if she helps me at the wellness event, she's going to get product credit or cash, whichever she wants. And in this case, she didn't want any cash because she didn't want to upgrade to brand ambassador. She didn't want any connection. So long story short, I gave her $20 because I got the commission, because we got 2 people from her party and they were she didn't want to be the sponsor. And so I gave her my commission, basically the 20% that we make on a new combo. I gave that to her as a thank you instead of putting the person under her. That's what she wanted. And so I'm just thinking outside the box here, you guys, because even people that have no plans to work a business or even cover the cost of their products would be willing to help you. So I want to encourage you. And Terry, in your case, everybody, and in Irma and Candy, I don't know, I know Candy has hundreds and Irma probably has close to it because you've been in that long, but go back and ask if they'd be willing to help. Okay. So after that, my goal was to find a new VIP, at least one, and then ask that new VIP to host a wellness event. And it was pretty organic and easy because they just saw what it was like. And I explained the same thing. You can get free product. We can cover the cost of your products. I didn't go into a long explanation or any kind of explanation about this could be a side hustle, the referral program. I didn't send them any charts. I just said, would you be willing to help me? and I will help you cover the cost of your products. And you guys, this is what I believe. There is not a person on the planet that couldn't be excited about covering the cost of their products because, money is money. And so that is the way I talk to people. If there was more interest beyond that, then we took it from there.
Mm-hmm.
But so many times I think when we start, talking about a side hustle or start talking about the referral program and showing them numbers, it can be really intimidating and scare them off. But when we start with, like, you all are so good at plus one and covering the cost of your products, that's just very organic. And so that's how I did it with these wellness events. And then my goal was to book from every event because Mary Kay taught me when you hold 5 parties in a week and you book from every party, and then you book from that party and from that party, you never run out of leads. And so I think what it takes is digging really deep and asking the scary people, because asking this friend Sarah was super scary for me because I know money's not an issue. I know she didn't care about any freebie. She's related to my sister-in-law, not Mary, this is the other side of the family. And it was just scary. And I was absolutely blown away that she was so willing to help me. And so you guys just don't even think about it, just ask. And of course, she liked that I gave her I sent her $40 because we got 2 people. Terry.
I was going to say, what is your comeback to them when they've ordered the products? You ask the plus one and they say, oh, I've got to see how it works on me. And my people are going to want to have
see how I do.
They want to see how it's helping me. So, I mean, we're getting a lot of that too.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I just kind of like, it's not that I don't listen, but I just say, oh, I totally understand. But you know what? It is so much more fun to have an accountability partner and to jump in with somebody else. And you're not putting your stamp of approval on anything. I am. And so all you want to do is invite people. I'm going to put my stamp of approval because I've been on the products for 6.5 years. And it's informative. We're just going to give information because I think the reason they say that is because they don't want to go on, online saying, well, I'm using this and it's great when they don't know. And so I make it clear that they're not giving a testimony. They're not putting their stamp on it. I am. And I'm looking for more people to share. Plus, I want you to have a great start. And it's just so much more fun to grab an accountability partner or to grab a friend, a power partner. And so then I'm like, so who do you know? Who do you know that could use some weight loss, who's really wanting to lose some weight before summer? Who do you know that? And once I talk like that, they're fine. They don't come back and really argue. It makes sense to them. Do you see what I mean? So it's almost like I don't give preference to that. I say, oh yeah, I understand, but you're not going to be giving a testimony. You're not going to be putting your stamp of approval on anything. I'm just going to give information. And then they can, talk with me if they want to. And usually it works when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then a question on once they have the plus one, because some of the people that Terry has have got their plus one, like their spouse typically.
Yeah.
And then to get them to go beyond that is the next thing. So what would you say about that? Because then I'm thinking of one individual and she goes, yeah, just like Terry said, well, I need to still wait and see. And my husband wasn't, that's a different thing, but now
yeah.
go beyond that. She's like, well, and we did all the, well, who do you know wants weight loss? And so she's in that thinking mode. And so any ideas?
Well, I guess I would just go back to, I totally understand, I want to validate her. But again, I'm sure you know some people that could really get excited about some weight loss. And I want to help you cover the cost of your products so that when your next order comes, it's paid for. So who do you know? And so I just kind of take it back to, this is great. Who does your husband know? Because we can get one of his friends. And I just kind of
Mhm.
ignore the fact that they're telling me they want to wait, and I give them all the reasons why not to wait. And usually they're okay with it. Sometimes they come back with, well, let me think about it. Okay, well, you think about it and I'll call you in an hour. Make your list. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Who who could you help? And I think when you talk like that to them, it gets their brain going, yeah, who could I help? Wow. My mom just said she needed this, and my sister, they start thinking.
Mhm.
And just like Mary Kay used to say, when we don't share, it's really selfish. And so I don't say that to anybody, but I try to get them to just start thinking about who they can help. And I'm going to do it for you. You don't have to do a thing. All I'm looking for. And then I take it back to, it would really help me. I would really be so grateful
Mhm.
if you would, if we need to do a wellness event to meet those people, which sometimes, you guys, I found that because sometimes people have told me they really don't have a network. Now, this one girl told me this, and then she got her mother, her father, her daughter. So sometimes I think they're just not thinking about it. But she booked a wellness event, and then she had people. So that kind of brings me to number 2, social media. So let's talk about social media. If I always ask someone if they're on social media, and based on their answer, if it's active for them, then great. If it's not, then I tell them no worries. But if they're on social media, then I send them the pink post that talks about taking a selfie. And then you know what I'm talking about, Candy, the
Mhm.
post. And
Is
then
that
I
not in the
ask
brand new?
them
Yeah, yeah.
if they'd be willing to post this on Facebook. And pretty much they all say yes, if they're, Facebook savvy, or they could do it on Instagram as well. And the reason that I want them to post that first is because if they're going to book a wellness event and they're telling me they don't know who, they post that and they get some engagement, and then they can send the graphic to the people that like their post. People don't, and I try to prepare them, and I say, don't expect people to jump up and say, me, tell me. But even if they like it, then you can invite them. And if someone is really social media savvy, then they usually choose to do a Facebook Messenger party. And I've been doing a lot of Facebook Messenger parties. In fact, Candy, I was going to tell you, if you guys wanted one, because I don't know if you guys are doing those, have done them in a while, and I have, like the one I did for the team,
Mhm.
but one of the things that I've seen with a Facebook Messenger is they do it all the time. They put the graphic up on their page, and that's not how to invite people. You can do that, but then I tell them, we see, this is the thing. This is a business of connections. And so we have to get really good at using social media to connect, not just like Marianne says, post and pray. Now, don't misunderstand. I pray over every bit of my business, but I have some people that honestly just post thinking the customers are going to come. And it is rare. It is so rare. Even Marianne doesn't have it, where somebody's like me, I want to hear. Um, but it can be a connector. And so, okay, so if she wants to book a Facebook Messenger party. Then I have her do the post, and then I make the graphic. And then when someone likes her post, I give her the script to invite them to a Facebook Messenger party. And I can send that to you, Candy. There's, different ones. And the important part of a Facebook Messenger party is to say, can I add you? Because I had one that she does every direct selling business out there. I'm trying to think what are Pampered Chef, Tupperware. I mean, she was doing all those, and she just took all these people and added them to the Facebook Messenger party, and they didn't know what they were being added to. Mm-hmm. And so you know what happens when they're added to something they don't know what they're being added to, they leave. And so anyway, so I make sure that they get a yes before they add them. Okay. And then, okay, I think I skipped ahead. Okay. So that's the Facebook Messenger. And the great thing about a Facebook Messenger party, you can do them on the run. I mean, I post these in the middle of birthday parties, in the middle of whatever. I just go steal away, go in the bathroom, post it. And then the important part after the Facebook Messenger is the chat. And I tell them and I tell them in the Facebook Messenger party. And I'll post it, and then I'll use my voice. And I'll thank them at the end for joining us. And if it's Terry's Facebook Messenger, Terry is going to be setting up a 3-way chat with you and Candy and me to answer any questions. We want to help you with your health goals. And so I leave a voice message along with a written message. So it makes it more personable. And then, of course, when I start the Facebook Messenger, I introduce myself and I put my picture in my story. And so the chats at the end of the party are the most important. And you can see who's looked at it. So you want to start the chat as soon as you see a little bubble. But Marianne says, go ahead and start the chat even if they haven't looked at it yet. And if they're not answering in the 3-way, let's say, Terry started one and Candy and the guest, and they're not answering, then I would have Terry reach out personally and do a side message and say, hey, Susie, did you see the chat that I started? Candy's going to help, answer the questions because I've just been doing this for a couple months, and get them to engage. And sometimes it takes a little bit more than, just sending one message. And then once I begin to connect with that person, it might be before the cart is sent or after. I do try to get on the phone with them, and, because they can't see me in Facebook Messenger. And so I want to do a Facebook, face so they can see me. And sometimes it happens before they order. Sometimes it happens after they order. It depends. And pretty much with my Facebook parties, I tell them, we're going to send you a cart with a link to order your products, and we'll customize your products for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the person that's going to host a wellness event on Messenger, you're saying if they're savvy with social media, could you just review that again really quick? They're going to post a selfie. What did they say on that selfie? If they're going to post their Messenger party on Facebook,
well, first they're going to do a post that they've started the business. And then based on, okay, here it is. They say, I'm so excited to start this health journey. Here, let me see if I can, where can I put this for you guys?
You could text it to me, and then I'll put it on Messenger, and then I'll them. Yep.
Okay. I'll send it over. So I send this out, and I have them post this, once they get started or once they order. I'm trying to copy and paste it. Hang on. Okay. So it says, I'm so excited to start this health journey that my friend Terry introduced me to or told me about. It's an all natural health supplement that's given her better sleep, more energy, better gut health, and helped her feel much better overall. Who wants to try this with me? And that's it. And they post that. And then based on the responses that come in, then I have her send a graphic with a script that says, hey, thanks so much for liking my post. I'm so excited to host a wellness Facebook Messenger party or a wellness Zoom, whichever it's going to be, to share more information. It's going to be at this time. Can I add you? And that's it. I don't start giving them all the information about all the products. I just invite them to learn more, to get more information at this time, either on Zoom or on Facebook Messenger, whichever it is. Candy.
And the person, so they get some feedback on their first post that they're so excited. And then those people that are commenting below, then you have them go and personally message those people with the second script, which is, hey, I'm so glad you commented.
Yes.
Here's my, I'm hosting a Zoom.
Exactly.
A wellness event. Yeah.
And some people are going to respond to that Facebook post and say, tell me more. What is it? And so that's perfect to invite them. Now, if the wellness event is not in the next 24 hours, then what I have them do is tell them I'm going to personal message you. And then, Ed.
Yeah.
Could you get me a shake?
Water.
No, a shake.
A shake.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I'm drinking.
I haven't eaten and I'm feeling a little lightheaded.
Yeah.
Okay. So, see, I'm losing my.
So yeah, you were saying
Okay, so yes, let's say somebody responds because it says who wants to do this with me, and somebody says, tell me more. What is it? Anything like that, then I have her start a three-way chat. Then we don't wait for the wellness event. And I have her start the chat and just introduce me. This is Joanne, who introduced me to the products, and she's going to help answer any questions. Then I jump in. So great to meet you. Do you have any health concerns or health goals? And then we get the conversation going. And, sometimes they're going to close right there. If not, then we go ahead and invite them to the wellness event. But if it's not timely, I don't want it to get cold. And so we go ahead and start the chat. And sometimes starting the chat before the Facebook Messenger party is even more effective, because they're already connecting with you. And then when you post the information, it's not just like this robot or something out there. So that can be a really good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What would you say if you've been putting out all these feelers and invites and either you're not getting any responses or they genuinely are busy and not able to attend, but at the same time, I don't want to keep peppering them with another invite every week kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's good question, Terry. Well, this is what I found about the Facebook Messenger. In the script that I send out, I tell them it's 15 minutes of read only, non-interactive. And the busiest people in the world can grab 15 minutes and read the information. And then I also say, if you're not able to jump on at 8, the information will stay posted and you can get on at any time. So I have found that using the Facebook Messenger event is a great way to get those busy people that won't commit, to jump on a Zoom, because it takes less time, to do that. So, but if they, if I keep inviting and they're not able to, have you tried inviting them to a Facebook Messenger event, Terry, or is it mainly they're saying no to Zooms?
Zooms or wellness events, yes.
Okay.
No messenger event.
Yeah. Oh, they are saying no to a messenger event?
No, not really.
Okay. I would try that, and I would be sure to put in there 15 minutes of read only, non-interactive. Because here's the other thing. I think sometimes people are interested in information, but they don't want to interact. They don't want to talk to somebody, but they're okay to read it, and they're okay. I mean, there's just people, we all know people like that in our lives. They'd rather text all day long than get on the phone and talk to somebody. And so, but we want to reach them all. And so if they're that kind of person, then this is where the Facebook Messenger is perfect for them. And so I would go back to those that have said no to a wellness Zoom event and invite them to a Facebook Messenger. And, I'll send over the script to Candy that I use, because when you tell them it's only 15 minutes and it's read only, non-interactive, they don't have to show their face. They don't have to talk. So I think that will reach some people.
Well, I would imagine too, a little introduction to them to say, I know schedules didn't work out for a wellness event or a Zoom, so here's another option. Would you be open to trying this, so that you kind of have an introduction to
Sure.
to send them something else, so they're not just thinking, because I got invited to some things recently and I just thought after I get the third one, I'm like, but if they had used a little bit of a caveat at the beginning to kind of say, hey, I know it's been busy for you, and Zoom isn't working, and the getting together isn't working. So there's a really great option, because I think that, and then I think tying it back to what this can do for them, the reason
Yeah.
um I'm so passionate, or the reason I'm so interested in you hearing this, is because it'll help you with your health goals or health issues. And if you know what those issues are, then, and if you don't, just say it's going to help you feel better. Your quality of life is going to improve. Um,
Right.
that kind of thing. So there's sort of a little intro to that, so they don't go, oh, here's another thing. Because I just went through that with somebody inviting me to stuff, and I went, well, this is getting kind of like, but had they maybe prefaced it, and I'm sure that's what Joanne's talking about. So
Yeah.
just,
And when they do that post, when you have the new VIP post, she's talking about how it's given you better sleep and energy and gut health.
Mhm.
So that's going to kind of give her an introduction to an overall feeling better.
Yeah.
And so that's going to give her an introduction to what you're going to share with her,
Yeah.
Okay. All
Good.
right. So let's move on to number 3. And it's still about social media and posting. And, I have to tell you that this has been the biggest jump out of my comfort zone of anything in my Plexus journey, because I wasn't on Facebook after I retired. And Candy knows I was very nervous about it. I'm fine now, because I realize that, we're totally free to post. But still, I had a lot of preconceived ideas about social media. I thought it was just a narcissistic. I just thought, what is this for? And why would anybody do it? My daughter has helped me a lot to break through. And she still has to remind me, it's not the post that is going to make or break. It's you connecting with people. And so the more people get to know you through your stories, through your lives, through your posts, then they're going to trust you, and they're going to come to you. They may watch, I don't know, 1,000 posts for years. Marianne tells me stories about that, about the pink drink, and but not just the pink drink, about your life and getting to know you and who you are. And then when the time is right, they may reach out. And so that's helped me a lot with social media. It's helped me to realize it's a great connector. And that's what we want to do, is better connect with people. Now, but and Marianne's always saying to me, have you messaged every single one of your friends on Facebook? So I ask you guys, have you messaged every single one of your friends on Facebook? I'm certain that I haven't. But this is one of my favorite ways to do it. And I'm going to tell you, I have a daughter who is a Cadillac sales director in Mary Kay, and then I have a daughter who's a diamond in Plexus. And Marianne mastered Instagram back before it was even a thing. I still don't really understand it. My daughter, Jenny, has mastered working social media for her Mary Kay business. I am absolutely blown away. The numbers she gives me, like Hannah Fetty, she's like Hannah Fetty. She sends out 50 messages, and from those, she'll get a new person and she'll begin a conversation. But the volume of what she sends out just blows my mind. Okay, so that being said, I think that we all have to. I was having a conversation just yesterday with the brand ambassador, and she said, I'm trying to work this like so and so, or I thought I had to work this like so and so. And you don't have to work it like anybody except you. I'm sharing all these different ways that you can share, but I think at the end of the day, you can try them all and do a little bit of them all, but you have to do who you are and not try to be Hannah Fetty or anybody. I'm using her because she just blows my mind.
Yeah.
100
It's
messages.
the one that got like 1,000 orders or something in a month.
Yeah, it's crazy. But one of the things I have learned is we have to increase our network. So with social media, like with the wellness events, the whole plan is to increase our network by getting a new VIP and then asking her and then asking her and asking her or him. Now, with social media, Marianne's always taught me to send out 10 new friend requests every day. And that's pretty easy. And this is how you can do it. Facebook kind of helps you with it because they, when you go into your account, they have people and they suggest them as a friend. But what I like to do is pick someone who I like a lot and who I might not already be friends with. And in my situation, and probably Candy's too, I'm not looking for other Mary Kay people because I don't want any conflict of interest. If they're a consultant, that's kind of different. But I'm looking for friends of friends. And so you just send a friend request, 10 of them, and even more. Jenny sends 50. Well, no, this is the thing. You have to be careful because Facebook will shut it down. Like what'll happen is after about 10, you'll get a message that says, it looks like you don't know this friend. Friends, I don't know, some kind of weird message. And so you just stop and go back and do it later. But sending new friend requests. Now, when they accept your friend request, and you can see that in Facebook, y'all know what I'm talking about? When they accept it, then you want to go in, and even maybe before you send the friend request, you can go into their page and you can like some of their things. And I tell you what I like to do before I send a friend request, I like to check them out and see if I want to be friends with them. So I go to their page and I also try to find something in common. And so once they say yes, or they accept the friend request, and you want to acknowledge it. And you want to message them. Thanks so much for accepting my friend request. It looks like we have a lot of friends in common. And then maybe there's something else, like a couple that I sent out this week. It looks like they're from Ocala. And so I would say, it looks like you're from Ocala. How long have you lived here? And I would begin a conversation to connect. And again, it's kind of Candy, Marianne always explains it like this. And Irma, Mary Kay warm chatter. It's warm chatter on social media. Mm-hmm. And that I do know is what Hannah did. She warm chattered a lot of people. She joined different Facebook groups. And in those Facebook groups, like homeschool groups, and I don't know what all else groups, but I know one of my new brand ambassadors joined some kind of a mom's group. She's really into animals. She joined an animal group. Now, in a lot of those groups, it will say that you can't post information about your product, but when people are messaging, you can side and personal message that person. And that's what happened for Christine. She was in a mom's group and somebody started talking about gut health. And so she didn't message it in the group. She messaged her personally and then got a conversation going. Okay. So think of it as meeting friends, warm chattering on social media, but it's the consistency of doing that. Like, we should all do this challenge, because I can't challenge you without challenging myself. We should do 5 days a week, make 10 new friends 5 days a week. That's 50 new friends, you guys. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay, I'm getting off on my numbers. I wanted to make this so clear. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm on 3. Okay. This is my favorite way to post. I like to post something about the products, not a graphic showing a sale, not a graphic showing the pink drink, but me with the product saying something about it on stories. And that's my favorite way. And I don't mind posting on my feed. It's just that for some reason, I don't get over there to do it as fast, and stories is so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I get more engagement from my stories than I do. That's just, I don't know why. Maybe because I'm too boring on my.
Well, and you get more names. You get all their
Yeah.
names. They're viewing it. You don't get their names when you're viewing it, when they view it on Facebook, unless they comment. But on
if they
stories, you get
or
all
if they
those
like
names.
it, if they check it, you
Right.
know, then you can. But what I love to do is I see that they viewed it, and I send a very simple script. And I did this all the way to Emerald, and I'm telling you, it works for me. It may sound stupid, but I just say, hey, thanks so much for viewing my post or viewing my stories. And if it's somebody I know, then I might say, how have you been? How are you? But if I don't know them, I just say, thanks so much for viewing my stories. Have you ever had the opportunity to try the pink drink? And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I send. And I get responses, and people will come back. No, what is it? I've never had anybody be rude. I've had people say, actually, yes, I did with a friend. Or I had a couple people lately that said, yeah, it didn't work for me, but thanks for thinking of me. And they came back and thanked me. And so it's a super simple message. And I send it to anybody. And I have sent it, you guys. And they haven't, you're not being ghosted if they don't see it. But what I'm seeing is there's an awful lot of people that watch stories that aren't on Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not on Messenger. And so if you don't know them and they're not on Messenger and you don't have a phone number, I don't know. Y'all tell me how to get in touch with them. Actually, you know what I did the other day? She wasn't on Messenger and she was posting about weight loss. And so I went into her feed and I said, I sent you a PM in Messenger. And she answered. So that might be a way, you know, to get somebody. But anyway, so I try to post. The thing about stories that's so great is that you can post a Plexus story, and then you can post a personal story, and then a Plexus. And so I know, you know, Marian says, don't just blow up your feed and your stories with Plexus, 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 but you can intertwine it. And I think the more personal, and trust me, you know, watch her, because she's in there all animated and talking, and, you know, I need to do that more. I don't do that enough. But I try to put some kind of picture of me with the products that I'm talking about. And then follow up with the, you know, the asking them that question. Okay. Number 4, in person. When I started, I did a lot of in-person sip and sees. And so my question to you all, have you tapped out your neighborhood? Have you had a sip and see in your neighborhood and invited all your neighbors to come and try the pink drink? And have you tapped out everybody you go to church with? Have you invited them to a live sip and see? I believe that in-person events are so effective. Every in-person event that I've ever held, someone has always ordered because we have the computer right there. You can click right there. You don't even have to send a cart. You can just pull up join.plexus. It's all right there. They fill it out. And what's so cool now is that we're even doing some where we take the slides and, you know, if you're at your house, you can have that set up to go and have a little slide presentation really quickly about the products. But I would encourage you, if you haven't tapped your neighborhood, your church, any local groups that you're involved in, set those up for a sip and see. Saturday morning, you know, that's when I would do them and have the most attendance. And then this was interesting because then we started doing some at this coffee shop. And even though it was open, we were able to reserve a table and just have people come and sit around the table. If they wanted to get coffee, they could. And I brought water bottles and poured up. It wasn't anything fancy. We didn't have a display. It was just conversation around the table, pouring up some pink drink in bathroom cups and passing it around. And then I tell you what I love to do. You guys, I didn't do this in the beginning, but I'm doing it now. And it's, you know, the Candida yeast page that says Candida overgrowth, and it says, do you have any of these? And it lists like, I don't know, 50 symptoms. I put that out on the table and I put it in front of everybody and I give them a pen and I say, circle any of these that you deal with. And then I love to tell my story and tell them, guess how many of these I have? And when I go 0, they're like, that's not, you're not telling me the truth. It's the truth. And then I tell them my story, why I don't have any of them. And so that's a really great way to get people engaged. And as far as also in-person events, I know Candy's done these, and I just did my first health expo about a month ago. I wasn't properly prepared because I had no idea how many people were coming through. And this was amazing. We were bombarded by people. You didn't have to ask them, are you interested? They were coming to get information about health and wellness. And next time I do it, I'm going to bring my husband, my granddaughters, and have a team, because there were so many people to talk to and to connect with. And of course, we use the little info card. Candy, you have that, the little info card. And so we try to get everybody to fill that out so that we can properly follow up with them. But the last health expo I did, I took the Wi-Fi wasn't too good inside, so we went outside and she signed up right there. I sent a cart from my phone to her phone and we stood there, and I stood there with her as she filled it out. So I don't know what it's like in y'all's area, but if it costs money, you guys could go in together and then you split the leads and you could work it together. A health expo, and even some of the other expos I know can work. It's just like craft fairs and car shows and different things like that. It's another way to connect, but they're not there for health. And so you got to interest them in health. But look for in-person events. After that expo, I told my husband, I said, you know, if we have to travel to Orlando, drive an hour or whatever, we need to do one once a month, because, you know, it's kind of a gold mine and we just need to get out there and find them.
Now, did you have like a fishbowl and have them put their name and address in it so you can contact them at a later time?
Yes. And Terry, I have a little info card that says I am interested in, and then it had gut health, weight loss, more sleep, energy, and they would check those things. And so that was awesome. When I followed up, I could say, oh, I see you're interested in. And yes, we did. We had a basket, and I'm trying to think what we gave away, because we said, you know, if you fill this out, you're going to drawing 4. And I can't remember what it was, but we gave something, you know, a bag of hydrate or something. And oh, you know what? I think the health expo was giving something away. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were giving something away. So it was no big deal to have them fill that out. They were happy to. Yeah. The other thing of in person, you guys make sure that you have your tote, your purse stocked with samples. And now I'm not big on just giving out samples because they cost you money, but I keep them in my purse. And when it's appropriate, or if I'm like yesterday, my girl Sarah, who owns the coffee shop, wanted me to go check at the Pilates place to see if they might be interested in doing a health expo with her at the coffee shop. So I went in and I got to talking with the girl up front. And of course, I said, "Have you ever tried the pink drink?" No, she hadn't. I had one. I gave it to her, got her information, just sent her the video following up. So just as you're doing life and you're out and about, like Candy and I were talking about, I was just at the baseball field. And, you know, when you're out and about, I used my girls. That's how I built to national, was my children's friends' moms had skin. And my children's friends, now my children, you know, now it's grandchildren. And but anyway, just everywhere we go, you guys, making that connection. Because in most conversations, you're going to hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm so tired," you know, and it's so easy to just say, "Oh, you never tried the pink drink? Let me tell you about it." Now, let me just throw this in. Another thing that I do when I am getting ghosted, because I can take no. Someone can tell me no, thank you. And when someone answers me and says no, thank you, I immediately thank them for saying no. Thank you for getting back with me. Because for someone to look at my message and not answer, to me, is so rude. I just can't handle it. And so then I come back and I say, "I'm sending out pink drink samples today. Would you like me to send you one?" And that usually gets an answer. I don't love sending out pink drink samples because it takes time and money, but I try to, and I don't do anything fancy. Candy knows I don't do any. I mean, sometimes I put 2 samples in a little bag. I don't have a business card, and I just write a little note. "Thanks so much for trying. Let me know when it arrives and I'll walk you through. Thanks, Joanne." And so it's simple. But that is one way that I have gotten people that ghost me to respond. And like I said, if they say no, that's fine. Just respond so that I know. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, I think as we're dealing with all of this, you know, people business can be so exhilarating and draining, because all of us probably have experienced some happy customers and some unhappy customers, and we want everybody to be happy. And that was one of the things that was really a challenge for me in the beginning. I couldn't understand why anybody wouldn't be happy with the products, because I started them and I never stopped, and they changed my life. And so it just, I'm like, what is happening? Why would somebody stop taking them? They go on vacation and stop taking them? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know, do you stop brushing your teeth because you go on vacation? And so it took me a minute to realize that's just how it's going to be. And some people are going to respond and some aren't, but don't take it personally. It's not you. It's the product, which I don't understand that. But anyway, so number 5, stay connected to your why. Why are you doing this? What really motivates you and brings you joy in this? I think it's so important, you all, that especially as we're digging deep and looking for new customers, you know, I just wake up every morning and thank God for the products, the opportunity, and the opportunity to share with other people and ask him, you know, show me who is waiting. And, you know, Candy knows we always used to say this, you know, when somebody says no, you just got to say some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting, and someone is waiting. And so stay connected to your why. I really believe that that's going to keep us going in those times when we're like, oh, what am I doing? You know? And then number 6, stay consistent. That's, I mean, in anything, you guys, you know, if we start a workout, if we join a gym, it's consistency where we're going to see success. And it's the same in this business. And so that's why I'm thinking, I'm like, oh gosh, if we jump in here and do this and do 5 days of 10 new friends and see what happens, wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
And then let's see what happens. But anyway, trust the process. And I am preaching to myself, to the choir, because I was born with this crazy sense of urgency, came from my beloved father. And I don't like the process. I want instant success. I want it fast. And so trusting the process, God uses that in my life because, I mean, that's what the Christian life is. It's a process of Him working in us and making us like Him, and trusting that process that He tells us that He will do. He's not finished with us yet, right? And so when I get stressed out and I feel like I've put forth effort and I'm not seeing enough results, I go back to trusting the process. You know, I'm not in control of people's hearts. I'm not in control of what people say and what people do. All I'm in control of is what I do and trusting the results to God because He is in control. And that gives me so much peace as I work this business. And I've always said, you know, pray like it all depends on God and work like it all depends on us, because we can't just sit back and pray, okay, Lord, bless my efforts, and not give Him anything to bless. And so that gives me so much hope and encouragement to keep going because there's lessons in the process. I just got a text from a dear Mary Kay friend, retired national, and her daughter had just given a speech at graduation talking. She lost her father through divorce, and then she lost him in death. And this is a high school girl. And she was sharing the process of the struggle and how God had used that struggle to draw her closer to Him. And so, you know, ultimately, you know, that's what I believe about this business and everything in life. It's for His glory and for our good. So praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Wow. Thank you so much. Are there any questions before I stop the recording? But Joanne, that was fabulous. That was fabulous.
I'm sorry it went a little long, but
okay. That was worth it.
No, and I'm glad we get to go back and listen to it over and over too.
Yes. Yes.
Well, and Candy, let me just real quick, I wanted, because it kind of all blurred together because one transitioned to the other, but the number one was the wellness events, getting those going. And you guys maybe get you a marker board. I have my marker board and I'm listing them for my own self. I want to prove that a perfect 10, if it worked in Mary Kay, it can work in Plexus. And even more, 3 + 3 + 3, because that'd be 12 wellness events. But I'm tracking it. So I want to encourage you to track it. And then number 2 is social media, the consistency. And number 3 is posting and then responding. And then number 4 is in the in-person connections through the Sip and Seas and the health expos. Number 5 is staying connected. And number 6 is trusting the process and staying consistent in the process. So maybe that will clarify. And, you know, you guys, the whole point of all of this in increasing our network is more conversations. And I know Marianne used to use a sheet that talked about, it wasn't called the perfect 10. Oh, 10 in play, 10 in play. And I have that sheet I can send to you. Candy probably has it too. And 10 in play meant 10 new conversations every day. Who can you be in conversation with? Whether it's through a wellness event, through Facebook, through an in-person conversation, on the phone, in texting, but 10 new a day. Because think about it, 10 new a day, 5 days a week, That's 50 conversations. And we can all track our numbers and see how many conversations does it take to get a new VIP. How many conversations? And some, I mean, you guys have had great results, like 10 out of 10, on your Zooms and follow up. So, we used to say in Mary Kay, it's a numbers game, but it's a people business.
Yeah.
So the numbers do matter, because the more people we're talking with and we're involved with, the more results we're going to see.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Wow.
Is there anything specific that that I said or didn't say that you guys have a question about?
The only thing that I would say is when somebody runs, like, okay, they're VIPs, let's say they've asked all their VIPs to hold a wellness event. And then there's the group of customers that haven't ordered, so that's also a group to tap into. But when you go through that, you've gone through that list, then I guess you would just jump into these other things like posting connections, doing all that stuff. Because I was thinking, like in Mary Kay, for instance, somebody that wasn't even interested in the product, had no desire, we would just book them anyway. I think if there's any way to book somebody who has no interest in health or has told us no, or, that would be the only other thing I would.
I think you could, Candy. I
Yeah.
think if they're willing to help you, that would be.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
If they're willing to help you. But that's a really great point, because see, if we're tapping each one of these
Mm-hmm.
a little bit every day,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I try to do every day. I look for who could I ask to hold a wellness event. And of course, the newest, I'm asking the newest because that's going to benefit her.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking for a new wellness event every day. But I'm also on social media looking for who can I send a message to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys want to do this contest with me, I'll do it with you. 10 new friends, and we can reach out and see how that goes. Now, I might send 10 new friend requests. It doesn't mean they all come back yes.
Mm-hmm.
It may take, I don't know, I have to ask my daughter Jenny, it may take more, to get that. But yeah, I think when we're working all these different avenues,
Yeah.
then we're not going to run out of leads.
Right.
We're
And
digging deep,
Right. And then could you just summarize this on the credits? So when, let's say, a VIP host, she doesn't want to build the business, she doesn't want to be a brand ambassador, then she gets the $20 credit. And then what's that mean to you as they're your level 1 or 2? What does that mean for you in terms of points, just for the technical part?
Yeah. Okay. So if someone doesn't want to build, she's a VIP customer,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't want to upgrade to brand ambassador, but she refers someone to you.
Mm-hmm.
If she wants to be the sponsor, then you would put that person under her, and she just doesn't upgrade to brand ambassador. So she will get $20 product credit for the order. And that's automatically
every month. So every month that person orders a triplex.
No, Candy, it's only it's one time for the new VIP.
Okay.
For the new VIP. So, and she would get it, for the next order. It would be applied for her next order. So if she's a new VIP this month, and then she sends you a referral and you put the referral under her, she's going to get the product credit that will be applied next month when she orders. Now, you get 6 points. So it's like she's your level 1, but here's where the rub is. She's like your level 1, you get 6 points, but she doesn't count for a prize. So like you're working for 6 to get the jean jacket. She wouldn't count for that, but she does count 6 points. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the difference there. That's where if you have someone who doesn't even care about being the sponsor, then you can put that person under you as the sponsor and give her $20.
Mhm.
$20 product credit because
Yep.
you're going to get the commission on the order. So
Yep.
just give it to her if she totally doesn't care,
Yeah.
because then it benefits you not just points, but for the prize you're going for.
Yes, that makes sense. That's why you're saying the $20 because she's only going to get 20 anyway.
Right,
Might as well just give her the 20 and not
right.
fuss with all the prize points and all that stuff. And of course,
Exactly.
most of our people, even though they said they didn't want to build, we've always just said, if you upgrade to brand ambassador, you'll receive more to help pay for your products. So then
Mhm.
upgrade them because I just feel like that's getting them closer to thinking, oh, okay, so now there's some
Sure.
that, and now I get a little bit each month, for their reorder. And whereas with the $20 credit, they're only going to get that once. So that's
Exactly. No,
very
it makes
yeah,
total sense for somebody to upgrade, even if they don't want to work the business.
right,
And
right.
here's the thing, too. If you have somebody who upgrades to brand ambassador and for some reason they decide they don't want to be a brand ambassador anymore, they can downgrade to VIP. They can go back to being a VIP.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I haven't had that happen,
right,
but
okay,
that's what Marianne explained to me.
okay, okay. Well, this was so great. Oh my goodness, Joanne, thank you. This was
Well, good. I hope it helped. I
awesome.
hope it
Yes.
helped. We're all in this together, just, and I'll be excited to hear, what do you try and what works, and let's keep sharing it. And if you find another avenue that works, because I think we're all just looking to build our networks to help more people.
Right, right. And so the 10 friend request challenge then starts Monday, because that would be nice if it wasn't today.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you
It
want to
could
get
be
a head
today,
start
or
today,
maybe
I've already sent some. So
okay, okay. I
you
was gonna
can
say,
start whenever you want.
okay. So just so by next Friday, I guess would be the point. So
Let
5 days sometime between now and next Friday. Does that sound fair?
Sure. And maybe we should track how many new friends we get, because
Yeah.
we can send 10 every day, but we don't know that we're going to get, 10 back. So that'll be interesting just for our own self to know. And I'm going to see my Mary Kay daughter here in just a little bit, and I'm going to pick her brain. I'll let you know.
Well, and I think the other thing for me will be, I see those friend requests coming up, and which is weird because some of them are my friends. So I'm like, wait, how come I'm getting another request? I probably need to have a little training on him and how you find 10 people to friend request. Like that might be my next
So go into your friends' profiles and see if you have mutual
Yes.
friends that you're not friends with on your own Facebook. You friend them from their Facebook.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Just
that's how you
find,
start your convo too, because you have a similar interest. You know the person that you both know the person, and bring up some sort of combo that how did they meet them or how do they know them kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm learning something new all the time. Love it. Love it. Okay. So this is great. Okay. Well, thank you all so much. This was wonderful. And just God bless you and your birthday celebration today, Joanne. And
Thank you.
I know Irma has stuff going on and Terry has stuff going on, and just so excited that Terry and Irma could get on. And I know other people
Yes.
do this. So beautiful. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.